Patrick, what are your thoughts?
I found it very difficult to get into this movie, and I didn't expect that going in, and I think it's the raised expectations of Nick Cage's recent / still maybe still going on hot streak. This is the Cage Renaissance. This is Mandy, Pig, the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Like, he's made some good movies lately. And I don't think this is one of them. I don't think it's, to the level of, like, the average Nick Cage movie. Or, like, even in this hot streak, he's made stinkers.
Yeah.
This isn't necessarily a stinker.
But it's not at that same level as the other films that we've seen.
And I looked it up. It's gotten pretty middling reviews. I think a lot of people respect it for kind of its director's vision. And, at least back when people respected the director anyways. But, I mean, we talked about the aesthetics are nice. There's really not much story. I wanted this to be more of an adventure film, or there to be more of a journey. Because I mentioned Escape from New York. Okay, Escape from New York, yeah, he meets weird people, and I don't know if I'd really call that an adventure movie. But you know what else this movie is, in terms of the plot?
What?
It's Shrek. Shrek is an adventure. We've got a castle. We've got that fun scene with the swinging bridge. We got a dragon. We got Robin Hood and His Merry Men. That's an adventure film. I mean, it's an animated comedy, and it's different than this, but like, give us that adventure out of this journey. I don't want to see a fucking car in this movie. I want him to go on foot. I want everything to be like a struggle for him to travel everywhere.
They also built up the irradiated prisoners as like more of a threat or more of a problem, but the only times they ever showed up were They
didn't do anything.
Just do anything?
No, they just knocked people out somehow. Then you didn't see them for 15 minutes again,
Yeah. There also needed to be some kind of twist. Maybe if it started out and we didn't know the governor was evil. And, maybe Nick Cage doesn't know the governor's evil. But, I mean, he's evil to him. He straps bombs to his nuts. But, and then, halfway through, once he saves Sofia Boutella, then he learns that he's keeping all these sex slaves, and he's like this evil, corrupt government official. Then it's like, oh, that could be interesting, but no.
I'm trying to think of all the ways that they could have made this movie better, of which I'm sure there are plenty of ways. But that would have been one of them, to kind of hold all that information back from the audience. But again, I don't even think Nick Cage really knew about his harem.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's worth noting.
And the only thing that Nick Cage has against the governor is that he made him wear this suit that took out one of his nuts and one of his arms.
Which is
fair.
Significant.
But all the people of the world talk about the governor being this evil, corrupt world leader. But he doesn't seem to have an effect on anybody's lives outside of Samurai Town. I just don't know what's happening, or is there, or maybe all the people were kicked out of Samurai Town. Is that it, maybe? And then they have to live in the Ghostland?
Maybe?
I don't know. The whole thing, it's just confusing. I think the only redeeming thing about this movie is that Japanese aesthetic, because it is really pretty, especially in the last 20 minutes or so. You're just kind of, I was almost taken aback. I was like, wow, this is actually gorgeous. All that pleasure district stuff with the rails on the windows and whatever, and the long kind of wooden buildings, and then everything, even Yasujiro, he was a cool dude. Doing all kinds of samurai stuff. There was a bit where right before Nick Cage comes back, he's drinking sake on this balcony, and I'm like, that's cool. It's a cool shot. He looks cool. The colors are cool. Everything about it is cool. That's the only good thing about this movie, really.
No, it's not the only. There's not the only good thing about this movie. This movie has a strong visual sense. Its action scenes are well directed, well choreographed,
That's true.
Doubled by Nick Cage's stuntman.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, all the squibs are great. I mean, there's a great shot where a guy's head or neck gets stabbed and it spews all over the inside of a paper lantern, which is a really neat shot. There's neat stuff. And then all the dream sequences that I skipped over this time, they all look really neat. They're all kind of spooky. I think maybe that's why people thought it was a horror. People were spooked.
No, you don't get people didn't think it was a horror movie. They're just like, this is a weird movie. Horror fans are weirdos. They'll like it. That was all the thought that went into it.
But I don't know. This movie was confusing, kind of boring. Not a lot happened.
Yeah, for me, the plot being pretty weak was probably the biggest nail in the coffin. Also, we didn't say, but not that he's bad, but Nick Cage didn't really bring a whole lot to the table. He was just kind of there.
There was only one scene where he hammed it up.
And he doesn't need to ham it up, but
No,
I mean,
doesn't.
That's
he
what he
doesn't.
often
But,
does.
If he was going to be in like a crappy B movie, you might want to see Nick Cage ham it up a bit. I know he's an actual respected actor. He's a good actor. But if you're going to watch something like this, you want to see him be a little crazy. And there's only one scene where he does it, and he's giving like a speech at Clock Tower Town. And he says, "We're going to go back and kill the governor, the man who took my testicle." And you're like, okay. Okay, thanks for letting everybody know that you now have one less nut.
He's a confident man. He can talk about that.